I think Adam Schiff is the biggest leaker in Washington. You know that. I know that. We all know that. I've watched Adam Schiff leak. They would leak selectively with a sick, corrupt politician named Schiff. He's a corrupt politician. Now, Schiff is a big leaker. You know, he leaks to crazy CNN. Adam Schiff and his group, they leaked it to the papers. And as usual, they ought to investigate Adam Schiff for leaking that information. He should not be leaking information out of intelligence. They ought to investigate Adam Schiff.
And they say Trump was famous for projecting. More on our breaking news tonight. Among the details we are learning from this New York Times reporting on these secret subpoenas of congressional records by the Trump DOJ, quote, prosecutors under the beleaguered Attorney General Jeff Sessions, I'm convinced that's now part of his title, were hunting for the sources behind news media reports about contacts between Trump associates and Russia. Paper goes on to say, by the way, when Sessions left, Bill Barr revived the investigation. So, a lot to talk about. We've got the guys to do it. Back with us again tonight, James Carville, veteran Democratic strategist who rose to national fame with the Clinton presidential effort, co-host of the Politics War Room podcast, and the most famous man in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Michael Steele back with us, former chairman of the Republican National Committee, former lieutenant governor of the great state of Maryland, also the host of the Michael Steele podcast. Okay, James, your reaction to tonight's lead story.
I was watching the basketball game, so I turned on your program at the top of the hour. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. And I saw your guests, and they were all knowledgeable. And I think everybody's like in disbelief that not that Trump would do such a thing, but that the Justice Department would be involved up to their neck in this. And I hadn't touched the law book in a long time, but I'm surprised they didn't have to get some kind of judicial approval for something like this. I mean, Congress needs to look at this law. You can go around willy-nilly and subpoenaing phone records of members of Congress. I'm just trying to digest it all, Brian. I'm just overwhelmed by it. I'll be honest with you.
I understand. Well, that's why you watch basketball games, because sometimes the news is overwhelming around here. And, Michael, I want to ask what you expect to hear from Republicans. After I say this, I heard from a prominent Democrat tonight after this news broke who wanted me to say the Democrats should expect nothing, zero from this politically. Both lanes will stay as they are. They shouldn't play victimization. They shouldn't look for sympathy. This is going to move no one, though it will trigger hearings and probably dictate the next couple of months of our lives. Having said that, should we expect the Trump base to say, well, if our president ordered it, if Barr did it, if Sessions did it, it must have been justified?
Well, yeah, they'll say that. That's a given that they'll say that. What you will hear from McConnell or McCarthy, I wish you had a cricket sound that you could play right now, because that's exactly what you will hear. Crickets. They will have nothing to say about this. They will not have anything to opine on about the utter corruption of the Justice Department, the crap stain of Trumpism that has infected every organ, as we're going to find out, of government. And so there is nothing they're going to say about it, because they don't want to deal with it. Remember, this is the same crowd that said nothing about January 6th except that, oh, it was a tourist attraction. So you don't expect them to come to the table the way my friend Mr. Carville has with the shock. It was like, wait, are you kidding me? What? But so, yeah, there will be investigations. And I think that Democratic strategist is right. There's no way for the Democrats to really play this. Let the process unfold. Let more information, revelatory information come out. And the country will absorb it as they do everything else. But to try to say something about it from the Democratic side is just going to be, pinned as political. And the Republicans aren't going to say anything. So it is very much, as he said, sort of status quo, and it will flow the way it will.
James Carville, because when you talk, I listen. I heard you on, shall we say, another network tonight, talking about the mathematics in the U.S. Senate. And during a quaint earlier time, around like 7 o'clock Eastern time tonight, we thought we'd be talking mostly Biden's overseas trip and infrastructure here tonight. So I'll go there on infrastructure. The point you make has no counterpoint. The math doesn't work out very well for the Democrats in a 60-vote Senate. But we did see these 10 senators today from both parties, including some steady and prominent names, getting together on this. Democrats know they don't have the mathematics. They know they don't have the noses. But they also know states love infrastructure, most of them by its given name, jobs programs. Everyone loves a job program and the resulting better airport, bridge, and highway that comes of it.
Well, first of all, the public expects you to try, all right? And if it looks like we're trying harder and they won't do anything, then the public will reward us. They're in a kind of a tight spot, too, because you're right, these infrastructure programs, the jobs programs, the interstate highway system and all the great things that we did in this country before are popular, very popular with the public. And so, everybody goes over a tight spot. The Democrats are in, the Biden's in. The Republicans are in a tight spot also. And too many Democrats are carping, after not even 5 months. Remember what Mitch McConnell calls it, the long game. Well, the Democrats strategically are trying to say, well, why wouldn't do something yesterday when we're not setting us up for the long game? And the long game right now is setting this thing up for 2022. And there will be consequences for the Republicans if they don't appear to be trying to do something. And I think we should play this. The politics of this is hard and as tough as we can possibly play it. And I suspect that's what President Biden is doing right now. I hope he is.
Michael Steele, what's the potential fallout for Joe Biden in 60 seconds or less?
Look, doing nothing, to James's point. I mean, just absolutely playing soft politics. This is hardball. McConnell and the Republicans are playing this to the edge. They know, at least their calculation is, that the numbers work for them going into 2022. So the question Democrats have to ask themselves is, how do we disrupt the numbers? How do we change the game right now? And to Carville's point, long term. This is a long play. It's a slow roll up to November. And you use every moment along the way to slap, slam, and hit to make the point with the American voters. We got your back. They don't.